On February 5, 2025, President Trump signed a groundbreaking executive order. This order, keeping men out of women's sports, sent shockwaves through the nation. The order's core message is clear. Biological males are prohibited from competing in women's sports at institutions receiving federal funding. Non-compliance carries serious consequences, including potential revocation of federal funds and investigations. President Trump has drawn a line in the sand, making it clear that he stands firmly on the side of protecting the integrity of women's sports. This executive order is not just about sports, it's about fairness. It's about ensuring that female athletes have a level playing field, a fair shot at victory. The debate surrounding transgender athletes in women's sports is not new, but this order brings it to the forefront, demanding attention and action. At the heart of this debate lies Title IX, a landmark piece of legislation passed in 1972. Title IX prohibits sex-based discrimination in any educational program or activity receiving federal funding, including athletics. Supporters of President Trump's executive order argue that allowing biological males to compete in women's sports directly contradicts the original intent of Title IX. Title IX was designed to create equal opportunities for women in education, including athletics. A January 2025 federal judge's ruling further bolstered this argument. The judge blocked the Biden-Harris administration's attempt to redefine sex discrimination to include gender identity. The Supreme Court is anticipated to weigh in on this issue soon, providing much-needed clarity. The court's decision will have far-reaching implications, shaping the future of transgender participation in sports and beyond. The issue of transgender athletes in women's sports has deeply divided the nation. Public opinion polls paint a clear picture. Support for sex-segregated sports remains high. According to a January 2025 NYT Ipsos poll, 79% of Americans believe that athletes should compete based on their biological sex. The NCAA, the governing body for college athletics, has also reversed its previous stance on this issue. Under the leadership of Charlie Baker, the NCAA now aligns with President Trump's executive order, banning biological males from women's sports. Previously, the NCAA allowed transgender women to compete in women's sports after a year of testosterone suppression. The NCAA's policy reversal signifies a victory for those who have long advocated for fairness and a level playing field in women's sports. Despite the NCAA's shift, some critics argue that it was too little, too late, pointing to the numerous female athletes who have already been disadvantaged. The debate surrounding transgender athletes in women's sports is incredibly complex, touching on issues of fairness, safety, and the very definition of inclusivity. Supporters of President Trump's executive order argue that it is simply about fairness, ensuring that women are not robbed of opportunities due to the inherent physical advantages of biological males. They point to cases of transgender women dominating women's sports, breaking records, and displacing female athletes. However, opponents of the order argue that it is discriminatory and harmful to transgender individuals. They emphasize the importance of inclusivity and acceptance, stating that excluding transgender athletes sends a message of intolerance. Beyond fairness, concerns about safety and privacy also fuel this debate. The highly publicized case of Riley Gaines, a former college swimmer who was forced to share a locker room with Leah Thomas, a transgender woman, brought the issue of privacy to the forefront. As we navigate these uncharted waters, it is essential to approach this issue with empathy, understanding, and a commitment to finding solutions that respect the dignity and rights of all involved.